All right, let's get right into this tactical review. We're looking at some highly classified battlefield intelligence today regarding one of the absolute most lethal independent engines of war out there in the theater right now, Meleys, the Red Queen. We're going to dive deep into her tactical capabilities, treating her exactly as what she is, a colossal, self-commanding battlefield commander leading armies right on the front lines. Look, in the current theater, understanding exactly how to deploy her isn't just about padding your damage numbers. It is literally a matter of absolute survival. She doesn't just, participate in the battle. She dictates the entire terms of engagement the second the vanguard lines meet. Her mere presence on the field fundamentally alters the actual physics of battlefield engagement. Now, in standard operations, we all know initiative is the most prized asset, right? The fastest march strikes first, and they usually secure that early advantage that just snowballs into a sweeping victory. But Meleys, she completely weaponizes that standard doctrine right against her adversaries. She forces opposing tacticians into this crazy paradox where their greatest strength, their speed, is instantly inverted into a fatal liability. To really grasp how she flips this pacing upside down, we need to look at her core operational classification. She's a physical assassin engineered to completely dominate combat pacing. While other titans out there might rely on just sweeping, area of effect fire damage, Meleys relies on surgical, overwhelmingly heavy physical strikes. Her entire kit is built around identifying the absolute greatest threat to your march's pacing and systematically neutralizing it before the enemy can even establish their tempo. And this pacing control, it begins the literal moment she opens her engagements. Bypassing standard targeting completely, her core mechanic, Scarlet Strike, automatically hunts down the enemy dragon with the highest initiative score on round 1. It totally ignores frontline shields to deliver this massive physical blow. But honestly, the true lethality here is the laceration debuff she applies. This permanently strips the target's turn order speed, so the enemy's fastest asset is just instantly crippled, guaranteeing that we dictate the activation order for the rest of the fight. But it's not just about that opening strike. Her defensive lethality acts as an absolute tactical deterrent. Thanks to her Queen's Vengeance mechanic, she boasts a guaranteed 100% counterattack rate against basic strikes. Think about that for a second. When you deploy Meleys into a combat lane, she establishes this zone of absolute consequence. If an opposing unit targets her with a basic attack, there's no probability, no dice roll involved. She is going to retaliate with a physical strike every single time. Because of this absolute certainty, any enemy relying on rapid, multi-hit basic attacks is essentially signing their own death warrant. We've all seen entire meta formations built around high-cadence dragons engineered to strike multiple times in a single round. Well, against Meleys, that doctrine is completely suicidal. A dragon that strikes 3 times is going to trigger 3 immediate, devastating physical counterattacks right back at them. They literally turn their own attack speed into a mechanism for self-destruction, just melting their own troop reserves before the round even concludes. So let's look at how these localized mechanics build into a devastating 3-round operational sequence, because this transforms early speed control into a catastrophic multi-target detonation. Step 1. That round 1 Scarlet Strike snipes the fastest enemy. Step 2. Laceration permanently anchors them to the absolute bottom of the turn order. And Step 3. Her namesake mechanic, the Red Queen, triggers on round 3. She detonates across 3 targets, inflicting massive physical damage, stacking heavy bleed for sustained attrition, and applying the vulnerable debuff. The entire enemy formation is just left completely exposed. Now, to maximize the devastation of these mechanics, this assassin absolutely must be anchored in the optimal theater lane using strictly monotroop deployment. You have to commit to 100% pure formations to unlock her full synergy. Mixed percentages will severely dilute her efficiency. For example, a pure spearman march transforms her into this heavy defensive anchor, perfect for absorbing and countering incoming cavalry charges. Conversely, if you deploy her with a pure cavalry march, you're leveraging her high initiative for super aggressive flanking and devastating early round strikes. When you're configuring these monotroop marches, lane placement is absolutely critical. Consider the Red and Mist protocol. This is a highly dominant theater formation operating strictly within the 3-lane system of left flank, vanguard, and right flank. In this highly optimized setup, Meleys takes the right flank, while the Epic Hunter, Smoketail, holds the center vanguard position. It's a meticulously calculated synergy where the vanguard's passive auras directly feed into the right flank's physical output. Just look at the sheer statistical amplification she gets in this specific configuration.
When Smoketail occupies the vanguard, it triggers the Hunter's Wrath aura, which instantly injects a flat +20 boost to both strength and speed directly into the right flank ally. So Meleys, who already possesses a staggering baseline for initiative and physical burst, just absorbs this massive buff. This effectively guarantees her Scarlet Strike lands absolutely first, upgrading her from a dangerous speed controller into a literal unstoppable force on the right side of the battlefield.
Alternatively, what if you're facing colossal stall tactics? Well, she shifts to the left flank in what we classify as the Giant Slayer protocol. If your intelligence indicates the enemy is anchoring their center with massive, impenetrable champion dragons built purely for defense and sustained healing, deploying Meleys on the left flank is your ultimate strategic counter. Her round 3 detonation applies that vulnerable debuff to those heavy tanks, stripping away their damage medication and allowing your vanguard and right flank to just absolutely shatter an otherwise unbreakable siege wall. Ultimately, her threat matrix provides a really precise, objective, tactical response to almost any hostile engagement out there. We can map her utility across all the major enemy deployments. Up against a speed blitz rush, her Scarlet Strike surgically removes the absolute fastest piece from the board. Dealing with a basic attack multi-hit composition, her 100% Queen's Vengeance completely shreds the aggressors. And against a heavy tank stall, her vulnerable debuffs break down their defensive line. She is, without a doubt, a highly adaptable multi-tool engine of war. Which leaves us with one final, frankly terrifying, tactical absolute to consider before your very next deployment. If her mechanics automatically dismantle the fastest units, instantly punish anyone who dares to attack her, and systematically shatter heavy armor over 3 rounds, how do you even begin to successfully mount a defense when she descends upon your lines? It requires profound foresight and absolutely flawless troop positioning. So keep this tactical breakdown at the forefront of your mind the next time you step into the war room and see embers glowing on the horizon.